Hello guys, my name is Michael and today we're going to be studying out Joshua chapter 4 and this is going to be a powerful one. I've done things a little bit differently which I'm hoping is going to be more engaging for you guys, but it's a powerful lesson today where we see the importance of us having moments in our life that our children can look back on and be inspired by and ask, Dad, Mum, what is this I see? What happened here? And you can tell them about the incredible things that God has done in your life. And we're also going to see the importance of men being ready for battle to protect their family and leading at the front. That's what we're going to be talking about today. Hope you guys are ready. Let's get into it. In Joshua chapter 4, what stood out to me was in verse 6 to 7, we saw that it says, "We will use these stones to build a memorial. In the future, your children will ask you, 'What do these stones mean?' Then you can tell them, 'They remind us that the Jordan River stopped flowing when the Ark of the Lord's covenant went across. These stones will stand as a memorial among the people of Israel forever.'" What stood out for me is this journey must not have been easy. This would have been a very difficult journey for the Israelites to make. You got to imagine you're going to have your tents, your food, all your belongings. You're going to have children. You're going to have all the old people there. There's going to be so many people trying to cross this Jordan River. And you need to lead them, and they can't give up. So, in the midst of the difficulties of trying, and it might have been muddy, I can imagine this wasn't like it wouldn't have been a well-trodden path. So, you've got all these people trying to cross the Jordan River. But they don't just quickly, all right, let's get through this and move on. But they make sure to remember what God is doing in their life. And I think for us, we've got to ask ourselves, there's going to be moments where our Christianity is difficult, where there's going to be like walking through muddy water. It's going to be like walking through a difficult path, a difficult challenge. But this isn't a time to just numb out and just to push our way through and, all right, quick, let's get to the other side. And they also would have been at fear of being attacked. That's why they had these 40,000 men up front, ready for battle, because they are walking into enemy territory with their wives and their children and their grandmothers behind them. Like, this would have been a stressful time, but it's not a time just to numb out and move forward. It's a time to also acknowledge what God has done in our life and make an effort to preserve this and to honor what God has done and not let it just pass by. So the question for us is, do we do that? When things are difficult, do we just push on, or do we honor God in our lives? In verse 21, we see that, "Then Joshua said to the Israelites, 'In the future your children will ask, what do these stones mean?'" A question for you guys is, what are your children going to ask? "Hey, Mum, I see this thing in your life. What does this mean? When did this happen?" Or, "Dad, I see this thing in the house. I see this thing that you wear. I see this thing in your past. What does it mean?" The question for you guys is, what are your children in the future going to see as evidence in your life about what you and God have done together as God has walked with you, that they're going to be asking, "What does this mean? Why is this here? Dad, tell me about your past. Tell me about the things that you have done. Tell me about the way God has moved in your life and why you made this." So the question for you guys is, what are you making that your children are going to ask in the future? What does this mean? Where does this come from? And also, men, are you leading, right? You see from Joshua 4, from verse 12 to 13, it says, "The armed warriors from the tribes of Reuben, Gad, and the half-tribe of Manasseh led the Israelites across the Jordan, just as Moses had directed. These armed men, about 40,000 strong, were ready for battle, and the Lord was with them as they crossed over the plains of Jericho. Then Joshua said to the Israelites, in the future your children will ask, what does this mean? So you see that the men were armed and strong and ready for battle. The question for us is, as the men we are leading, we are the ones who, the women are the weaker partners, the children are absolutely the weaker ones, and the grandparents and all of these are the weaker ones. So we need to be strong for them so that if we do get attacked, if the enemy comes, then we are prepared to deal with the challenges that we have to deal with. Be that the challenges of our faith. Are you ready for that battle? Are you ready to defend so that those that you are leading do not become weak, do not become discouraged, and do not get overwhelmed themselves? Are you ready? Do you have your sword ready? Do you have your armor on? What is a challenge for you guys today is make sure your faith is leaving monuments in your life. Do not let yourself leave this life without having made something that when your children are going to see in the future, they'll be like, wow, what is that? Like, tell me about these photos that I see on your Facebook where you're in some place and you're like, well, that was when I went on a mission team. That was when I went to go serve my God and I did everything I could to try and save people. Oh, tell me about this these videos that I see on your feed. Well, that was when I really wanted to do everything I could to try and save people's lives. Dad, tell me about this book that I see. Dad, tell me about these friends that I see you're surrounded by. Well, these are people that I reached out to when I was just walking to and from work, and I told them about God and they got baptized and they became my best friends and we did incredible things together. Have monuments. Have things that your children are going to see and be and wonder in the future. And don't just push your way through your own faith, push your way through your own relationship with God, going through that mud without picking up these things along the way. That's our study of Joshua chapter 4 today. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one.